It allows the system and services to be accessible within an organization. It can be accessible only within the organization. Infrastructure as a service will be the one of the top layer or one of the layer in the cloud computing platform. So if it has scalability, then no need to worry about the deployment, development, or no need to worry about anything related to updation or upgradation. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Rohini TS from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So in our today's session, we are dealing with the B.C.A third year, that is semester 5 of a subject called Cloud Computing and Big Data Analytics, and I am dealing with a unit 1 of session 2, and the unit name is Introduction to Cloud Computing and Big Data Analytics. So in my previous session, we had discussed some of the concepts in the previous session. So in our today's session, we're gonna deal with the cloud models. What is the use of having this cloud model? So this cloud model will going to have some of the services, and it has some of the working models that will going to help or that will going to enhance the cloud computing feasibility, and also it is accessible to the end users. So based on this scenario, we have two categories in the cloud model. One is deployment model and another one is service model. So now we'll see about the deployment model. So when it comes to the deployment model, so why we are calling this as a deployment model? So this will going to define the type of access to the cloud. That means how we are access the content of a cloud, whether we are accessing it publicly, whether it is we are accessing it is privately, or we are accessing it in the terms of hybrid or in the terms of community. So that will be the categories which comes under this deployment model. So we'll see about the public cloud. As the name indicates, public cloud, in the sense already we got to know that cloud. So that will going to give platform, or that will going to give a stage in order to have all the technologies. It will going to provide the technology services to the end user in order to satisfy their requirements. So when it comes to the public cloud, as the name indicates, it is public in nature. That means can be accessible by everybody. And if it is accessible by everybody, we can't expect more security in the public cloud. So that it will going to allow the system and services to be easily accessible to the general public. So there is no restriction over accessing the content which is resides in this public cloud, and it can be less accurate because it is open to everybody. So it can be accessible by everybody, so that you can expect less amount of security in the terms of public cloud. Then what is the example for this public cloud? That is email. Next we have a private cloud. As the name indicates, private in the sense what? It can be accessible only by the authorized person. So outers can't access it. If it is accessible only for the authorized person, then there will be a security than this public cloud. So it allows the system and services to be accessible within an organization. It can be accessible only within the organization. So it offers increased security. So why? Because it is private in nature. It can be accessible only by the authorized people. So it will going to increase the security. In the public cloud, it will going to have a less security. Next we have a community cloud. So this community cloud, you just imagine we have a bank, and that bank has several branches. So instead of having each branches with private cloud or each branch with separate cloud, they are going to take one community cloud. So that community cloud will going to serve, and it will going to give the services to all the branches of bank instead of taking private cloud for each branches of a bank. Okay, that is the thought which is in the community cloud. So you can see here, community cloud allows the system and services to be accessible by group of organization. It will going to be accessed by group of organization. Group of organization will going to have a authority to access the same community cloud, and all the branches have a accessibility to that particular community cloud. So you can take the example of bank branches. So there everything will going to be dumped, or every data and information will going to be dumped to the same cloud called community cloud, and can be accessible by all the branches of bank. So next we have a hybrid cloud. As the name indicates, hybrid is what? Combination of one or two. It is a combination or a mixture of public and private cloud. So by combining the public and private cloud, so in the hybrid cloud, we can improve the security. So because we have a private cloud here, and accessibility is also more. Why? Because I have a public. So it will be a mixture or a combination of both private as well as the public. So we'll see about the service model, that is regarding what deployment model, and what basis we are going to have this deployment model based on the type of access to the cloud. So now we'll see about the service model. So here service models are the reference models on which the cloud computing is based. So on what basis this cloud computing is all about. So that will going to be categorized as a service model. So it can be categorized into three basic types. So that is what? Infrastructure as a service, and we have a platform as a service, and we have a software as a service. So these are the three types of service models. So in the deployment, public, private, community and hybrid. So in the service model, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and we have a software as a service. We'll see about the first type, that is infrastructure as a service. This is also known as hardware as a service because it is giving its services which is related to the hardware. So it is one of the layer of the cloud computing platform. This infrastructure as a service will be the one of the top layer or one of the layer in the cloud computing platform, and then it will allows the customer to outsource their IT infrastructure. That infrastructures include which is related to the infrastructure in order to get the cloud computing services. So it includes servers will be there, networking will be there, processing, storage and virtual machines as well as other resources. So this infrastructure as a service or IaaS will going to take care about all these things. So customer access these resources on the internet using a pay as per use model. So whatever they are using, for example, if they are using only cloud computing for the purpose of processing, so they need to pay only for the purpose of processing. If they are taking it only for the half an hour of a networking services, then they have to pay only for that 30 minutes working of a networking as a service. So that will be there in this IaaS or infrastructure as a service. And this IaaS provides the following services. What are the services it will going to provide? The main service will going to be provided by the infrastructure as a service is computation, that is compute. So it will going to include service which includes virtual central processing unit and virtual main memory for the VMS that is provisioned to the end user. So it will going to provide the computation space in order to have a service which includes the virtual central processing as well as the virtual main memory. So VM is nothing but virtual memory here. And storage. So this infrastructure as a service will going to provide back-end storage in order to store the files. So it will going to have a back-end storage. So if something goes wrong, if natural disaster happens, at that time this infrastructure as a service will going to provide the back-end storage in order to store the files. So next we have a network. So here we are going to call everything as a service. So if they are giving resources, if they are giving network or applications they are rendering or they giving services, everything will be termed as what? Services. So here network as a service. This will going to provides networking components like it includes routers will be there. It will take care about the network, and also we have switches and bridges for the VMS, that is for virtual machines. So routers, bridges and it has switches. Those are the networking component that services will going to be provided by this infrastructure as a service. Then load balances. It has a capability to balance the load in the infrastructure layer. So if one of the layer is not working properly, then there will be a difficulty. So it is mandatory or necessity to have a load balancing in the all the layers of a cloud computing model, so that this IaaS or infrastructure as a service will going to provide the load balancing capability. Now we'll see the advantages of this infrastructure as a service. What is the first one? Shared infrastructure. So this IaaS will going to allows the multiple user to share the same physical infrastructure. So you are also going to get the same resources. I am also going to get the same network. If you consider an example of any of the SIM card users, so they are not preparing any of the networking models for individual users. So instead of that, what they are doing, they are building or they are manufacturing, they are creating one network model which will going to serve the purpose of multiple users, or which will work based on the multi-tenant model. So here also it will going to allow the multiple user in order to use a same infrastructure. That is the first advantage. Next, web access to the resources. This will going to allows the IT users to access the resources over the internet. So I can get services like networking, bridges, security, everything will going to be given to the user or end user or to the IT user over the internet or with the help of the web. Next, we have a pay as per use model. That means whatever you are using, for that only you need to pay. So apart from that, no any extra or additional charges will be charged in the infrastructure as a service. So next, we have one more advantage called focus on the core business. So this will going to focus, or it will going to have a concern over the organization's core business rather than IT infrastructure. How it look like, what are the services it provides. So other than that, it will going to have a main focus or a main core functionality regarding the organization core business. So next, so last advantage is on-demand scalability. So if you are having this infrastructure as a service, if you are incorporating this service, then no need to bother or no need to worry about the upgradation and updation of the system. So this will going to take care, or it will going to have a automatic upgrade software and troubleshoot to the issues which is related to the hardware component. If something goes wrong with the network, something goes wrong with the routers, bridges or any of networking components, then this infrastructure as a service will going to take care about all those things. So these are the advantages. Then what about the disadvantages? So it includes security. There could be a breaching of security and maintenance and upgrade. So somehow it is difficult, and it will not going to provide the security or maintenance or upgradation for some of the organization, and interoperability issues will be there. Somehow it is difficult to migrate VM from one IaaS provider to another. So if you wanted to migrate from one virtual machine of from one service provider to another service provider, so there will be some difficulties will be there in the terms of operability. So that will be one of the disadvantage. So here you can see some of the top IaaS providers or infrastructure as a service provider. So it includes Google Cloud, and Rackspace we have Oracle Cloud, Google Azure, and we have a Cisco, DigitalOcean, AWS. These are the top IaaS or infrastructure as a service provider. This is regarding this one. We'll see the next type, that is platform as a service. So in short, we will be calling this as a PaaS. So this platform as a service will going to provide the runtime environment. Now I am building a system and I am creating a programs and all the softwares I am building. So then who is going to give me the runtime platform? So if I wanted to showcase the talent, then there must be a stage. Then who is giving that stage? That is platform as a service. It is giving a stage in order to incorporate or in order to distribute the application. So this allows the programmer to easily create, test, run and deploy web applications. So I have created one web application. Now I wanted to run it. I wanted to deploy it to the cloud and should be used by another user. So that services can be takes place with the help of this platform as a service. So this PaaS or platform as a service will going to have a end user or a backend scalability. So if you are having this PaaS as a service, then no need to worry about any upgradation or maintenance about the platform. So if you wanted to have any of the applications or a web application, so you can purchase the web application over the internet and you have to pay as per the pay as per use model. So these is regarding what definition or some introduction part of the PaaS. So now we'll see about the advantages of this platform as a service. So this will going to provide programming languages, application framework, and it will provide database and other tools. So if you consider a programming languages, if I wanted to run any of the web application, it has to be programmed. That means it has to be coded. Then this programming languages will going to provide various programming language in order for the developers to develop the applications. If I don't have any of the programming languages, then there will be a difficulty of converting any of a set of instruction to machine understandable form. So there must be a need of having this programming language. So that programming languages will going to be given by this platform as a service. And you can see some of the programming languages here. It includes PHP, Java, Ruby, Perl, and it will goes on like that. And next we have a application framework. What is the use of application framework? This is framework is nothing but it is a structure. It will going to give you the boundary. So within that you have to play. So here also when it comes to the application framework, this framework easy to understand the application development. So if I wanted to understand about the development of application, then I must understand this what is this framework is all about. So if I am having this framework, so within that I will get to know what are its advantages, disadvantages, how can I improvise or how can we enhance the operability or operations which is going to take place. Everything needs to be understood by the framework, so that it will provide the application framework in order to easily understand the application development. And here also we have some of the example or important application software that includes Node.js, Drupal, then we have a Joomla and WordPress, Spring and Play, Rack and Zen. So these are the example which comes into the category of application network. So next is what? Databases. So why this database is important? So as we all know that if you wanted to store large amount of data with variety of data, then database is important. So it will going to provide a various databases such as ClearDB, and we have a PostgreSQL and MongoDB and Redis. So these are some of the example which comes into the category of database. So now we also have other tools in order to provide or in order to require in order to do the development, testing and deploy of the application. So these many services will going to be provided by platform as a service. Then by having all these things, it is also going to have some of the advantages of PaaS or platform as a service. So it is simplified development by giving all the programming languages and all the instruction framework. This development will going to be very easy. No need to worry about infrastructure management, and it has a lower risk. So we no need to have a things regarding the upgrade investment in the hardware or software. Everything is ready, stage is ready, only we have to perform. So that no need to worry about any of the hardware or software devices, and also developers only need a PC and internet connection. So if they are developing any of the web application, they just require only computer along with a network. So then this PaaS will going to provide some of the services in the terms of infrastructure, as well as it will provide the networking. Everything will going to be takes care about this, takes care by this PaaS. And pre-built business functionality. So some PaaS vendors also provide already defined business functionality so that user can avoid building everything from the scratch. So already everything is ready to use, only you just need to understand how it works. Then how can I get a benefit by using this PaaS as a service? So if we get to know now, then no need to worry about all the things, because every things will going to be take care about the PaaS, but you must know how to use and how to get the service. And also this has a instant community. For example, you have some doubts, you are not getting analyze things, or you are not able to analyze. So at that time you want suggestions from others in order to recover from that particular error. At that time, if you put a message to the community, there will be a people, one who is going to answer to your question. That is related to what? Instant community. So this PaaS vendors frequently provide an online communities where developer can get the ideas to share the experiences and can seek advice from others. So you can give your experience to juniors or the people who are in need, and also you can get the experience or you can get the advice from the people who are working under this PaaS. And also this has a scalability. So if it has scalability, then no need to worry about the deployment, development, or no need to worry about anything related to updation or upgradation. This is regarding what? Advantages of PaaS. And also we have some of the disadvantages. What is that? Vendor lock-in. Somehow it is difficult to change from one vendor to another vendor. So there will be a difficulty of migrating from one service provider to another service provider. So next we have a data privacy. So all the data and information will going to be kept in the private cloud. So at that time that data and information may not reach to the people, those who are in need. So next we have one more disadvantage, that is integration with the rest of systems application. So if you are installing or if you are having any of the PaaS services, it has to be compatible with the things which is already exist, so that it may happen that some applications are local and some applications are in the cloud. So that means there could be a situation of that there is no compatibility between the applications, so that there will be chances of increase in the complexity when we want to use data which in the cloud or within the local data. So we have a local data as well as the data in a cloud. There could be a situation where there is no compatibility between those two data. At the time also will be considered as what? One of the disadvantage. And here you can see some of the top PaaS providers. So it includes AWS and Engineered, and we have a Google Cloud, Forge, and we have a Fortrabit, Microsoft Azure. So these are some of the example which comes under the PaaS provider. We'll see the next model, that is software as a service. So in short, it will be termed as SaaS. So this is mainly known as on-demand software. So it is also known as what? On-demand software. So infrastructure will going to give you the infrastructure, like it will gives you the network, it will gives you the layer of infrastructure, so you can build whatever you want. So platform as a service or a PaaS will going to give you the programming language, and that will give you the storage things like databases, and that will gives you the framework. Then what this software as a service will going to do? We'll see now. It is a software distribution model in which services are hosted by cloud service provider. So now everything is ready. I just wanted to publish it. Then who is going to do that? That is by SaaS or a software as a service. So this will going to help in order to give the services which is hosted by a cloud service provider. So these hosting services are available to the end user over the internet. So if I wanted to access those services, then no need to install any of the software or hardware with the help of this, like we don't need to install any of the hardware or software. So this is related to some of the introduction part of the software as a service. So now we'll see about the services which is going to be provided by SaaS. What is the first service we have? First is business services. So it will going to give the business services like various business services to start up the business, that includes ERP, that is enterprise resource planning, and we have a CRM, that is customer relationship management, and also billing and related to sales. So these are the business services which will be provided by SaaS. And also we have document management. So management of document is also very important for the future use. So here documentation is a software application offered by a third party. So that having that document management will going to help you out in order to create, manage and to track the electronic documents. So if you are keep on tracking the electronic documents, then we will be in the track in order to get to know what is the thing exactly happening. And it will include an example like Slack, Same Page, Box and Zoho Forms are the example for this document management. What is the next service we have? That is social network. So this social network helps to handle the public's information, mainly in order to handle the public reviews or feedback. Then this social network will be used, and also it has a mail services in order to handle the unpredictable numbers of users. For example, you can have any number of users for mail services. So when you wanted to handle those n number of users or unknown number of users, at that time the service will going to be provided by this software as a service. So many email providers offering their services using SaaS. So these are the services which will be provided with the help of this software as a service. Now we'll see the advantages. What is the first advantage? SaaS is easy to buy because it is a software, no need to go somewhere else. So we can have it on a basis of monthly fee, or we can take it as an annual fee subscription. So it will allow the organization to access the business functionality at low cost, which is less than the license application, because license applications are will going to cost high. So if this SaaS is providing a service as a software at that time, so it will going to be available on the basis of monthly subscription as well as the annual subscription. So based on the compatibility of the user, they can go with any type of the service. What is the next advantage? That is one-to-many. So it will going to be created only one time and can be used by many number of users at a time. So it will offered as a one-to-many model. That means a single instance of the application is shared by multiple users. It needs to be used by 100 individuals. No need to create 100 individual software or a service. So only one time it will going to be created, and all the services will going to be distributed or will going to be shared by the multiple number of users. And this less hardware is required for SaaS because software is hosted remotely, so that organization does not need to install or to invest any of the additional hardware. No need to bring anything, no need to buy any software or hardware. They just wanted to have one PC with a internet connection. Then everything will going to be comes to your fingertips. So now we can see one more advantage, that is low maintenance required for SaaS, and also no special software or hardware version required because everything is already maintenance cost is low, and no other special software or hardware is required in order to access the services which is available in the SaaS. We'll see about the one more advantage, that is multi-device support. So you can access these services by any kind of devices, like you can access it with the help of desktop, laptops, tablets, phones and any other thin clients. No need to worry about the devices. And also it is API integration. So this is easily integrated with other software or services through the standard APIs. So application programming interface, it will going to provide a best interface in order to have a communications or in order to communicate or to be compatible with one software to another software. That will be easy. No client side installation. So if you are having these services, you no need to install any hardware or software. So it doesn't require anything. Whatever is already in your system, with that requirements, this SaaS will going to provide the service. And you can see some of the disadvantages of SaaS in the cloud computing. So mainly it is related to security and latency issue, in the sense what? So if you wanted to get the resultant within a few seconds, or if you wanted to get the resultant with less response time, somehow it will be difficult because everything is stored in the cloud. So it will require some times in order to communicate. So it will take some more response time. So if the response time goes high, at that time the quality and resultant will be slow or it will be low. So that is why it can be considered as one of the disadvantage. And total dependencies on the internet. So if internet goes off, nothing will going to work out. So that is the main disadvantage, and switching between SaaS vendor is difficult. So if you are compatible with one service provider, and if you wanted to migrate from one software to another software, could be a difficult things in the software as a service. So here you can see some of the top SaaS provider. It include Nextiva, Shopify and Zoom, Grammarly, so Salesforce, HubSpot. So these are the top SaaS providers. And here also you can see some of the providers of software as a service. I hope you all understood. It's all about today's session. So in my coming session, I will be continuing with the unit 1, that is Introduction to Cloud Computing and Big Data. I hope you all understood. Let me meet you in the next session with a continuation of unit 1 itself. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.